talk about some of the big things because this is overwhelming to a lot of people, right? So, what are the top tips that you would give parents that they can do today that are actionable, that are doable? Okay, let's go.
Yeah, and you know what? I always like to start with free things because people, I think that we've also gotten very, um, I have a symptom, here's a supplement. And that is also very allopathic model. And I think that what we have to remember is that we have to start with the foundations. We have
Mhm.
to start with the pillars of health. You know, you're not going to live 4 minutes without air. You're not going to, you'll go crazy and start hallucinating without 4 nights of sleep. You are, you're not going to survive without water. I think it's 4 days, something like that. So water, sleep, air. Those are my top three that are really free, and sunshine.
Mhm.
Okay. So go for a walk. Start that as like something that you can do with your family. We know that walking after you eat balances your blood sugar. It helps you with digestion. So that's what a nice connection to make with the family. Put the phones away, put the games away, put it away and go for a walk with your family every night. What a blessing of time with your family and a habit that started as a young age. So you're checking off all of these boxes with just a simple walk as a family after dinner.
And I want to add to that a side positive. I have moms that say, Sarah, how do you have such a good relationship with your kids? What they want to talk to you? I can't even get my child to the dinner table. And I say, well, first of all, that's a you problem. You got to make it's demanded that my kids are at the dinner table when I'm going to pay for the food that I'm cooking. However, I will going on walks with anybody, but especially your children. Think of it. You are physically moving side by side in the same direction. So you're on the same page. And it's also a time that I have found that the kids will kind of take a deep breath and they'll talk. They'll tell me things that they won't normally tell me. How's school going, their friends, what's troubling them. Gosh, emotional things that they don't really have time to say to you later on when they're on their Instagram or they're doing their homework or whatever. But it also puts you in the same movement forward, which psychologically is a huge thing. And it also is lowering your stress level. You're lowering your cortisol. So the barriers are down. So it's more than just a physical positive as far as what you're talking about, but just bonding with your children at that time. That is my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. And that checks off that love, that human connection, which we can't survive without as well. So you're checking so many boxes off with a walk. And also if you're doing it after dinner, you're getting in the habit of just getting ready for bed. So bringing you're outside, your eyes are seeing that evening light, which we know is so important for melatonin levels in the body. So you're checking off so many boxes with an evening after dinner walk. And don't pop back on the devices afterwards. Allow the body, keep the lights low in the house, have a bath, let them take a shower with some lavender oil or something. Create the routines. We see so many influencers on Instagram with nighttime routines and morning routines. Start that now with your children. Give them a routine to get them to get back to bed and bring that nervous system down so they can get sleep, because kids need sleep.
Yes.
They need sleep. And that's another thing that you can do to really help, because we know that that's number one. In my opinion, sleep is number one. We have to get to sleep so that our bodies can heal and rebalance. And we need to get good, deep sleep. So setting that up is really important. Getting daily sunshine. These are things that should be like bare minimum, right? Water, I always say it's very important. Try to get good filtered water. This is a challenge, but try to do that. Make sure they're drinking half their body weight in water. And I love get some movement in. Again, that goes back to the walk. So you're checking that off. As far as diet is concerned, I think that this is where it is the most work as a parent, but also you're going to see the most value out of the money and the time that you're spending when you are prioritizing a well-rounded whole foods diet and you are making the sacrifice to whether it has to be meal planned, made ahead, involve the kid, involve the family. These are things that are so important and non-negotiable in my mind because you can't out supplement a poor diet.
No, you can't. I love supplements, but diet, sleep, movement are priority. And there are easy ways. I don't know about you, but I buy my wild meats from ranches around the country, Wisconsin, New Jersey. They come from wherever, but they show up at my doorstep from these family farms, and it's cutting out the middleman, so it's no more expensive. But what's so fantastic is my 22-year-old son who will eat 3 steaks, and my daughter who doesn't want a half a steak. They come frozen in individual packages, and the kids can actually defrost them themselves and learn how to cook. And when you teach your child how to cook at even at 4 years old, 5 years old, think about the time you're saving later on, right?
Yeah.
And then they take ownership. You think they're going to throw away their lunch at school if they cook it or if they make it,
No.
right?
And that's one of the benefits that I've had the experience to have my children home with me, homeschooling, is we've really integrated cooking into our daily and them. Okay, show me how you are going to make a plate that hits all of the important things that you need to be filling your body with today, and that's important, but that can be done, it can be done for breakfast, it can be done for dinner with your kids. It's important to teach them and give them the responsibility, and they will eat things that they wouldn't normally eat when they're preparing it and having the even growing them outside and picking it and then creating a meal with it. They love to do that. They love to look up recipes and be involved. And I think that that's important. It's really, really important to include them because it creates those habits, like you said.
And when you teach them the why, there's
Right.
so many parents that will say, don't do that, don't do that, but they're not telling the child why. Don't do that because you're going to burn your hand and it's going to hurt. And then we're going to have to go to the hospital and get it cleaned out. And then you're not going to be able to play with your friends because you're at the hospital instead. Oh, okay, mom, then I'm not going to do it. Versus, don't do that. I don't know why, so I'm just going to do it again. Well, you want to eat these foods because you want to grow the muscles so you can be the best soccer player on the field. Or and I always, all three of my kids have different goals, different aspirations. One had learning issues, the other, my son Jackson had his immune system issues, my other daughter had energy issues, she was anemic, asthmatic, allergies, over anything. So I pinned what was important to them, why you do things. You want to eat these foods so you can be strong. You want to eat these foods so you don't need your nebulizer. You want to eat these foods so we don't have that cancer come back, right? You have what is important to them so they can identify with it, take it on themselves, and then, be more intrinsically motivated. It's not, okay, eat your protein, then you can have your Skittles.
Yeah, it's
Right?
important to teach them that. And I always taught my kids, why you're not going to, what sugar does to the immune system.
Mhm.
So instead of being like, no, you're sick, you can't have sugar, or no, we're not going to have this. Why aren't we going to eat this? What does it directly do to the immune system? And one of my most favorite sayings is, where there is a why, there is a will. And
Mhm.
where there's a will, there's a way. And so teaching kids the why they are taking a particular supplement, like you said, why they're eating the foods, why they can't or shouldn't eat certain foods. Like in our household, artificial colors are a absolute non-negotiable. It's not negotiable. There's many things that I might bend on here and there in certain situations, but and artificial colors are paint, and we don't eat paint. Would you eat paint? That's what I always say to my what I used to say to them, and they were like, we don't want to eat paint. And so I say to them, look, we have so many different options nowadays than even 10 years ago when I was starting living this lifestyle. There's so many different, Halloween's coming up. There's so many different candies without that artificial
Mhm.
colors and flavors and preservatives that you can switch out. So we always have done that. My kids go trick or treating. They enjoy themselves. They give their candy away, and I switch them out with something they know that they can have and that they're going to enjoy without the negative benefits. And they are proud of that. And so those whys are very, very, very important.